Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday afternoon. Time right now approaching the 1 o'clock hour Central Time here. It is meteorologist Matt Wentz with a look at your forecasts in terms of where the snow is right now. We've got some travel impacts as really the first decent snow that we've had all winter continues to roll through Northwest Indiana. So we'll talk about where the radar is right now. We'll talk traffic. We'll talk about when this moves out, and then we'll finish up with a look at what we may have coming to start the new year. All that and more in this Region Weather Live. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And welcome in, everybody. It is a little bit whiter outside than what we've been dealing with for much of the month of December. Hope you're doing well here on this Tuesday afternoon. Couple things going on in terms of the pattern that's moving through. Already seeing some questions on there. Susie just asked, is it worth it to shovel if it's just going to rain this afternoon? Susie, I would let it melt, in all honesty. And the reason why is because this is going to push through. We're going to warm up our temperatures, not a lot, but enough to clear the roadways by this evening. And then overnight tonight, really, we're going to start to see some melting process take place. So let's get to it. As always with these Region Weather Lives, feel free to ask questions. We'll talk about, any questions you may have at the end of this, but I want to get through kind of the presentation portion of this so we can talk about what's going on weather-wise right now. So I didn't pull up the pretty radar that shows the snow and the rain and where it's mixing. I wanted to just show the plain old radar. Whenever we discuss radar, that detects how heavy whatever it is falling through the atmosphere. So you can see this really good push of moisture that we've had through the region over the last couple hours. It was kind of lighter this morning. We've really cranked things out over the last couple hours. We're really falling in line with the sweet spot in terms of these systems where you have that rain changing over to snow. That's right where that line is. That's where you get some of the heaviest snow in any system. And that's exactly what we're dealing with right now is we've got some real good snow coming down. But I want to flip this on over to something we call the correlation coefficient, or the CC. It's a big name, but basically what this is looking for are things of similar size in the atmosphere. This is how we detect debris on radar during severe weather, but it also gives us a good look at what's falling in terms of snowflakes versus raindrops or sleet pellets, right? So you can see all across Northwest Indiana right now, we've got that solid color. Everything's a solid color like magenta or pink, whatever it is showing up on your screen. But you get just down to the southwest areas of Kankakee County, you get down towards areas of central Illinois, you notice how it becomes a little bit more colorful. So we've got all snowflakes falling across the region, but you get just south and west of here in this colorful area, and that's where we're seeing different size water droplets or snowflakes. And that's exactly where we're seeing our rain snow mix, perhaps some sleet in there as well. So that changeover line is starting to move in. The end of the precip is not too far back off towards the west. This is going to clear out pretty quickly, as we talked about this morning in our regionweather.com post. And this is the clearing process that's taking place right now. But you can see areas of Newton and Jasper County. I think it's a matter of maybe a half hour or so before you start mixing with some rain, maybe some sleet, and then eventually it'll come to an end. And then off towards the north, maybe about an hour or so before that happens. So maybe hour and a half. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the radar. So we don't have much longer with this system, but again, it is really cranking out that snow right now. How do we know? Well, if you're not familiar with regionweather.com, that's our website. We've got a whole traffic cam section right here. And when you click on that, I've got all the traffic cams courtesy NDOT up across Northwest Indiana. And it gives you a good look. We like to use this for lake effect to tell where the lake effect bands are and where it's dry. It certainly hasn't been used yet this winter because we haven't really had lake effect snow. But you can see as you got out towards, this is I-94 out towards the Lowell area, or this is actually out towards the Chesterton area. You can see roadways seem to be okay right now, but that snow coming down pretty good. Here's 8094 out towards Chesterton. This is one I was looking for. And this is a similar scene all across the region. You guys are seeing it out your window right now. The trees getting stuck with that plaster kind of snow that we have. Roadways appear to be okay, and that's because temperatures right now are right near freezing or above, and so road salt, anything like that is going to work just fine. And as long as the snowfall rate stays just below below the criteria where it really starts to pile up, we shouldn't have too many problems, especially on those main thoroughfares. Here's where we start to run in problems where roads are perhaps unsalted, or we've seen some of those heavier rates. This is up near the Gary area. You can see how we're down to some tracks. It is slick outside. It's manageable depending on your winter weather driving skills, but it certainly is slick. And look at the big flakes falling right now. I-65, that's near the Maryville exit, US 30 there. But roadways, again, 65 appears to be okay in that spot. As we go further south along I-65, here's a look near Crown Point. Visibility reduction for sure, but roadways looking okay. That's just south of our last camera. And then the last one I show you, again, these are always available for you. I made it nice and organized going from east to north to south, so you can tell. And this is as you get down towards Lowell. This camera this one has the longest view in terms of visibility, so it might look worse. But this is where some of our heavier snow's been, right where that rain to snow changeover is. So our southern counties have been seeing the heaviest snow out of this. And you can see there, pretty rough looking scene, right? Looking very wintry outside. And again, we've got a little bit longer of this. In terms of traffic across the region, this is your Google Maps pulling that up for me. You can see it's slow. Any of those roadways in orange, which pretty much all of them are, indicate slower than average travel. There are a couple spots that we've had some decent slowdowns, especially along Route 6 as you get out towards Westville. We've seen some problems. Portions of 65 have been a little bit slower as you get towards some of those exits, and then down towards the south, heading in from Leroy into Hebron, we're seeing along 231 some slowdowns with that as well. So that's what we're dealing with radar-wise. Again, a little bit longer on this for this heavier snow to push through, but we are really in the sweet spot of this system, and that's why we're talking slushy accumulation for sure, mainly on grassy surfaces, but the roads that are untreated, some of those side roads out there are pretty slick right now. In a couple more hours in this evening rush hours when we'll start to see that improvement as temperatures warm a little bit, and eventually everything will start to slowly melt down, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So let's go beyond this. This is the last thing I want to show you is kind of where we go from here to not just end the year, but to start 2022 as well. And you can see this is the system moving through. It's a quick one. It's a big push of moisture as it comes into our cool air. We're dealing with some of that heavier snow. That will move out quickly. Look at this. This is tonight. Everything's east and north of us. There's no push of cold air with this because the system's coming at us from the southwest. So that's bringing warmer air with it. That's why we're seeing temperatures actually go up, versus the system that comes in from the north or the west would bring colder air with it. So we'd see temperatures crash with that. But this one's coming from the southwest, so it's keeping that warm air stream coming. So that's why tonight I think a lot of that snow is going to melt off, especially on roads, not necessarily the grass. We're not getting real warm tonight. And then you can see as we go through time, it's pretty quiet for your Wednesday. Thursday, another little system zips through here. And again, this is the latest model run of the Euro. It's not quite done yet. So this is really fresh information. And again, this is the one I lean to, probably the most reliable model run, which is the 12Z. But you can see the system that comes through late Wednesday, Thursday. Bulk of it's down to the south. It doesn't really get organized very well, but we could see some light snow showers move through Wednesday night, Thursday. That, depending on if that low changes, which I don't think it will, that doesn't look to me much of a big deal. But the big deal is going to be this weekend storm system that arrives, I think, New Year's Eve, but especially New Year's Day. It's going to take up pretty much the entire eastern half of the country. It is a pattern changer in that it's going to bring us our first real shot at Arctic air this year. But it doesn't look like that's going to stick around real long. You know, that's kind of how the winter's gone. But as we go through time, this is the latest model run. I really haven't looked at it. But you can see here comes the rain. So this is New Year's Eve right here. If you have New Year's Eve plans, the Euro has us dry right now for the ball drop, but rain's moving in. So that's going to be a real tough timeline. I would plan for some showers around New Year's Eve, especially later we get into the evening with the ball drop or whatever your festivity is. And thereafter, we'll probably have rain moving in on radar. But keep in mind, it's just rain at this point. Watch how this system comes together. It's an elongated area of low pressure. This will be a powerhouse low as well. Temperatures are going to sharply drop behind this system. So air in Iowa and areas of Nebraska you see here, this is now the morning of New Year's Day, Saturday. Temperatures are going to be frigid there. Meanwhile, we're warmer with thunderstorms, perhaps severe weather down towards areas near Louisville, Evansville. We're kind of in between with just some rain at that point, but watch how the colder air moves in. We change that rain over to just kind of an icy mix for a little bit of time. This is Saturday afternoon. Remember New Year's Day afternoon? A lot of us visit families or are still where we were the night before. Keep that in mind. Things could get tricky as we go throughout that day. And then by Saturday night, we should be all snow. And then as we get into Sunday, depending on how this system wraps up, we'll likely have lingering snow around. This would paint a pretty snowy picture on Sunday. If this were to hold true, we'll have winds that are wrapping around, very cold air rushing in, probably in the teens at that point, Sunday during the day. And that would kick off a pretty intense lake effect snow band as it looks on this model with general snow elsewhere. So we could squeeze out a couple inches of snow on Sunday. And then eventually that moves out. And we really have quite a quiet week next week. Let's quickly look at the GFS. I haven't seen this run either. I'm going to be on my way to work here shortly. So this is kind of a preview. I don't have to do the work once I get in, but we'll look at this here. So this is the system that is going by on Thursday. GFS a little bit more bullish with some light snow moving through. And then as we get it into the weekend, this is that weekend system. Watch how it comes together. There's New Year's Eve. So wow, the GFS really doesn't have the lows coming together New Year's Eve at all. So the GFS is much slower on that now. That's new information. And then it kind of brings it together during the day on Saturday. Boy, GFS couldn't be further from the Euro on this. Really, this has much of New Year's Day dry, and then we're already on the cold side of things. And so it looks like it brings in some real decent snow New Year's Day afternoon and evening on into Sunday. And that would be a snowstorm for us if the GFS were to hold true with snow lasting all the way into Sunday. And then we quiet down after that. Hey, just for kicks, because we've got two different model solutions here, let's look at the Canadian, which is always reliable. If you guys have been with me long enough, Canadian's not a bad model. It's not. It tends to not get some things. So there's the system we have now. The Canadian says a little bit of snow. It's a little bit more bullish with that system on Wednesday, Thursday as well. And then let's see how it evolves this weekend system. Again, this is fresh information in here. And you could see, yeah, so this keeps us primarily dry, scattered showers around for the ball drop. And then Saturday, this kind of agrees more Euro, where we have rain that changes over to an icy mixture. That has some heavy snow by Saturday evening, Saturday night. And then it kind of winds it down the same way the Euro did as well, with a heavy lake effect snow band, much colder air moving in, and then eventually things kind of quiet down. So we'll see. I don't want to call it at this point. Again, just keep in mind, I think our lesson to take from the latest model run is we have differing solutions this weekend, but there is going to be some kind of storm system. The systems and the models have been picking up on that for quite a few days now. What this is going to look like in terms of that big low evolving, just how does it come together? That's going to be in question, and that will sort itself out over the next couple of days. Last thing I want to show you, let's take a look at temperatures as the system moves through. So here we go. As we go through time, this may take a little time to get through this. Here, let me fast forward here to Friday. All right, so this is New Year's Eve. All right, we're now getting into the evening hours. Temperatures, says the Euro, generally in the 30s to near 40. That's why we would have rain, if anything. But look at this cold air off towards the north. These are air temperatures Saturday morning at 30 below, 20 below in areas of Minnesota. I know it's been warm for us across the eastern half of the country. It's been very warm December, right? Because this pattern has just gotten stuck. But they've been dealing with way below average temperatures in areas of Canada. Canada is full of Arctic air right now. And you've probably known, and we've talked about what the Western U.S. has been dealing with. They have a record ski season out there. They have record snowfall. So just because we're warm, keep in mind, it's a bigger picture than that. There are places getting blasted with winter right now. It just hasn't been here because this pattern's been so consistent with warm east, cold west, cold Canada. So this is a preview of some of the air that's coming out of Canada. And I'll tell you, it is going to be cold. That's what's going to drive this storm system. So this is the Euro run. And again, look at the little bump of warmth there on Saturday before our temps drop. So we may tag 40 degrees. We'll see. That will change based on the track of that low. But this is Saturday evening now. We're down to 30. We're down into the 20s. And then here comes the really cold air on Sunday, with temperatures perhaps falling back into the teens, as I mentioned earlier, with below zero temps off towards our west. But again, I mentioned it's kind of fleeting. So you see how it does kind of breeze through the area Sunday night, Monday, but then this little chunk of cold air is out of here for that time. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. All right, so that's it. I hope that helps. We'll obviously keep our eyes on that weekend system That'll be a big one. But until then, we've got a really snowy scene outside, and travel is manageable. This isn't a huge deal. But again, it's causing some travel impacts out there, and it's our first real accumulating snow that we've seen, and really our first snow of December. How about that? All right, so here's what we're dealing with in terms of your questions. I'd be happy to answer those for you, and then we'll get you on your way here on this, what is it, Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday. My schedule's been all over the board for the holidays. So let's see what we've got. Pam says, looks like a snow globe right now. AJ saying a solid 1.5 in Valpo. I'm sure a lot of you are asking for amounts. Actually, I don't see anyone asking for amounts. That's good. We're learning, right? Hi, Ann from Cherville, watching us on our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. Jessica says Lake Station getting a beautiful snow right now. Debbie says, any words on tornadoes due to the far south on Wednesday? There's certainly a chance with not just this system, Debbie, but the other system that's coming in this weekend that we may have some severe weather, which includes tornadoes down to the south. But in terms of the Wednesday, I'll be honest, I haven't looked. I know the chances there today and tomorrow as the system zips east, but I have not checked. I don't think Wednesday, I don't know. I don't feel like Wednesday's a huge severe weather day. Let me see what we've got here. I'll see what Storm Prediction Center is saying in terms of severe weather chances. So today, here's your severe weather chance today. And then, yeah, tomorrow's the day when, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's when that kind of kicks up. So it's a slight risk for them down areas of, Alabama, Tennessee, and then it kind of moves east from there. In terms of chance of that, though, there's a pretty decent risk of some tornadoes with that. It doesn't look to be a huge outbreak, and this does look further south to include like Memphis and Tupelo, but the threat is certainly there for that, as you'd expect with any warm air versus cold air setup this time of year. So yeah, so they do have another chance for sure. Lynn says, thank you. Be careful out there. You too, everybody, for sure. Pat's freaking out. We always get one of those, Pat. I know some people do. I hope this isn't your first time joining me on here, because we are anti-hype. I hope you know that. We like to keep it real. I can't stand hype on storms. Like I said, this is a manageable snow. It snows in December. It snows in January. We can get used to it, right? Darren asking rain tonight. That's a great question, Darren. What's going to happen? This system has a lot of forcing, so there's a lot of uplift going right now. That's how we're cranking out heavy snow. That's how we're cranking out some of the rain and snow mix down to our southwest. Once this system goes through, the uplift kind of goes away, and so we're stuck with just moisture. And so I don't think it's going to rain tonight, but I think we'll have drizzle and fog later on this evening. When you have drizzle, it's because you can't produce big raindrops in the cloud. Everything just kind of settles, and that's what we're going to deal with. There's not going to be a lot of lift to produce raindrops. And that's what happens when you have flurries too. You don't have a lot of uplift. So it is going to warm up throughout the evening. Not a lot, but we'll be in the mid and upper 30s. So that should be enough to clear the roadways. A lot of the snow is going to be kind of dripping around a little bit for sure. Brenda says, hey, it's snowing in Rensselaer. Yeah, Brenda, you're actually going to change over to rain snow mix here shortly. So there you go. Winfield, Amanda, thank you for that. Debbie, you're welcome. Fate's having a snuggle day. That is wonderful. Coco in a movie with the boys. Very nice. That's good. It's been my 5-year-old's been off, obviously, last week and this week. So it's been nice to hang out with her. But I'm working tonight, so that's totally okay. So that's what we're dealing with, everybody. I hope that helps. Again, roads are slick in spots, the ones that are especially untreated, and especially down to the south where we've had some of those heavier snowfall rates. Other than that, things will really start to improve this evening. For that evening rush hour and beyond, we're looking good, improving by the hour as temperatures gradually warm. The snow's going to come to an end. It's going to mix with some rain at the end as the warmer air moves in. And then we'll keep our eye on that weak system Wednesday, Thursday. I don't want it to sneak up on us. And then we'll deal with that weekend system to ring in the new year. That one looks a lot bigger. So we'll keep you updated on that. I appreciate you joining me on this Tuesday afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. And we'll talk soon, okay? Enjoy the snow, everybody.